Hey guys, welcome to Trick or Treat. My name's Ryan Selvey, and we're here with Tim. How's it going, Tim? How are you doing?
Hey Ryan, how are you? Yeah, good to see you, mate. Doing good. Slightly nervous. Sorry about the fire alarm in the background, but yeah, all good here.
Wonderful timing is a very spooky addition to our stream.
Yeah.
What we're doing today, just for everyone tuning in for the first time, this is Tim Alexander. He's a wonderful illustrator, but I actually want to give you also the opportunity to talk about yourself. So, do you want to do a quick little elevator rundown pitch of yourself?
Yeah, 100%. So I'm Tim. I'm an illustrator based in Brighton, UK, South Coast Brighton. I've been illustrating freelance for, this is technically my first year, but I've been working in-house and some freelance stuff for that for like the past 4 years or so. So yeah, looking forward to this. It's something new, so bear with me if there's any difficulties, but yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're doing today is a little bit different than some other times we've done in the past. What we're actually doing today is we're doing Trick or Treat, which is Halloween themed, but we are going to be focusing a little bit on kind of controlling what's going on the stream, which is very fun. And basically how this is going to work is over on YouTube's channel, we're streaming to both Behance and to YouTube, but on YouTube, we're going to use the poll functionality. And with the poll functionality, we're going to control a little bit of Tim's screen and what he can and cannot do. We're going to start off with a series of a few rules that we have here, which is that he can only use a set of 5 colors. Objects cannot be grouped. You can only use one layer. And yeah, when you're going in, you just can't group those layers. So we're going to start off with those, and then they will continue to adjust as we kind of see fit and kind of as you guys continue to vote. But without further ado, I guess we could probably actually go ahead and just hop right on into what you have going on so far. And so I'm going to go ahead and share your screen. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you have prepared for us today?
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, Ryan, you got in touch probably sometime midweek with the idea of making something for this Adobe Live based around Halloween. So there's a few options that I sketched out. Obviously, Spooky House, it's a classic. Something a bit more sophisticated here. And then this little Spooky Witch's Cauldron, which was quite a good idea, I thought. And then something that was a bit more me was option 5 here, which was this sort of, I like to call it organized chaos, which seems to be sort of a theme within my work. So this option 5 is the direction that I'm going to be taking this stream in today. We've got a set of 5 colors up here. This red is going to be sort of the key primary color with some purples and a light purple tones sort of pick out the background, and classic black and white. Cool. So if it's all right with you, Ryan, I'm going to get into it and get started.
Sounds great. All right. Well, I guess we can probably actually even start off with giving you a little bit of a head start so that you're not completely deranged by the rules right off the bat, but then we'll hop into a poll in about the next 5 minutes. So if you guys are not already over on YouTube, make sure you hop over onto YouTube because that's where all the polls will be happening. Chat will still be happening on both services, but make sure you guys hop on over to YouTube so you guys can have a say in what's going on. So Tim, when did you get into illustration?
I got into illustration probably about 7 years ago or so. I was studying A levels in the UK, like most people my age do. And I very nearly ended up going down a photography route, but for some reason, illustration just had a calling for me. It's something that I've always really done. I used to make cartoons as a kid. I was always drawing, and it just felt like something that I really wanted to get into. I went to uni down in Bournemouth. If there's any UK viewers, they should know where that is, down on the south coast for reference. But yeah, I studied a foundation in art and design.
Yeah, is there anybody tuning in from the where's everybody tuning in from today? Actually, that's a really great question to start off with.
Where you can kind of see where everyone's tuning in from. Yeah, so I studied foundation, then a BA, and then finally an MA in illustration, all at the Arts University in Bournemouth, which was an amazing uni to study at. Great team of tutors there, really inspiring bunch. Yeah, no, I kind of felt it. Great place to learn. Kind of playing my craft. I'd say in my master's degree, that was when I really specialised in on vector illustration, which is completely what I do at the moment. From doing my MA, then I went on to an in-house job in London, which was great. Worked there for 3 years, and then beginning of this year, took the jump and went into freelance work. And I haven't really looked back since. It's been a really good year. It's been a hard year. Don't get me wrong. I think a lot of people have found it to be a hard year in terms of like freelance work.
Absolutely.
Everyone's saying the same thing. But you know, you've got to stick with it and see what happens. It's freelance versus in-house. It's a completely different way of working. Like, you've got a salary at the end of the month. You don't have to really worry. It's a complete switch up of how you work. But it was one of the best things I've ever done. And I've got a really good bunch of friends down in Brighton, friends, family, super supportive. You know, it's making that transition from fire alarm just stopped. Thank God for that.
Yeah.
That was annoying. I'm very sorry.
No, absolutely. I absolutely get it. I mean, it's out of your control. We have people tuning in from Texas, from the Netherlands, from Kingdom, Scotland. Great. It's great to have everybody here, which is exciting. And then I'm also tuning in from Brooklyn myself. So we are just doing full representation of the whole globe right now. It's different time zone for everyone in chat.
Yeah, thanks everyone for turning up. I've never done this before, and I'll be brutally honest, I was quite nervous to do it. I haven't really done, not that it's public speaking, but sort of performing on demand, that kind of thing. In the past much, so it's great to hear that there's a bit of a turnout. People viewing, I really appreciate it. Really appreciate the support.
Yeah, I mean, it's already looking phenomenal. I mean, it is also just such a great community on both the YouTube and Behance communities for these Adobe Lives. So you're in good hands. Kendall's also hopping in and saying she's tuning in from Colorado. We have Alessandra from Boston. And Oliver says, that's good. I thought we were going to have to vote on whether Tim got to save himself from a fire or not. So
that comes at the end.
Yeah, that's for the end. That's where once things kind of start picking up. Which actually is a really great transition into our very first poll, because we are about 10 minutes in. So since you've kind of gotten some leeway and started working on the piece itself, we're going to go ahead and on YouTube, we are going to start with Trick or Treat, the poll where you can go on. And if you're in YouTube, it should pop up and you can either vote to have Tim either convert the canvas to grayscale, or you can go ahead and, if you want to be nice, you can have him have the ability to add one more palette to the color palette. So hop on over to YouTube, make your vote. Ooh, people are already all over the place. We've got some tricks and treats coming in, which is exciting. And thank you for CJ for popping that URL over into Behance as well. Yeah, it keeps switching back and forth. I don't know which one it's going to be. Now, Tim, while they're kind of doing that, we're going to give it about another minute or so. Do you have a Halloween costume for this year? Do you have any parties you're going to?
No, I don't. Halloween is, well, there are some Halloween parties planned, but I'm not sure I'll be able to make it this year. But in terms of Halloween costumes, what would I do? I did a great one when I was at uni, which was Homer Simpson, and I just got.
Are you a big Simpsons fan?
I think I was more at uni, but
I got
massive white t-shirt, pillow under the top, and just roam the streets like a sort of crazed Simpson fanatic, and probably scared a lot of locals at uni. So yeah, that was a good one, but nothing planned this year. What about yourself?
We're doing some sad clowns, which is going to be more of a spooky, because we have to go to a themed party where you have to kind of dress towards the theme. All right, so we have about a minute in, so we have a clear winner, which our winner is going to be Treat. All right, so that means that you have the ability to go ahead and add one more color to your color palette if you'd like to. So already we have the orange, purple, the lighter purple, the white, and the black. Do you have an idea of something that you would want to add next to it?
Maybe a green, like a
spooky green.
Green.
Yeah,
spooky green. Let's go for one of those.
Speaking of which,
that in.
when I get to it, if that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely probably add like a leaf to that, maybe the pumpkin, or maybe even the little zombie finger is maybe like a nice little green something going on.
Exactly.
Let's see what they're saying over in chat. Marcy's mentioning that your water bottle is actually the perfect color to add to the piece. Oh yeah, it goes straight. Oh, and also the the phone case too. You're completely on theme.
I know. Maybe too on theme.
Yeah, no such thing. It's perfect. The more on the nose we can be, the better. And so you're working predominantly in Illustrator right now. When you were going and sketching things out, do you tend to work digitally, or do you tend to work in paper and then kind of bring that into Illustrator?
I'll be honest, I haven't sketched out traditionally in years. Unfortunately, it's all digital sketching, but it just works better for me, for my workflow. It's so much quicker, and it just means I can get straight in with Adobe Illustrator, like straight off the bat, rather than not wasting time, but being too precious about things.
No, that makes sense.
For my workflow.
Yeah, I definitely miss having like a sketchbook. I mean, I never really was that great on filling them up entirely, but it was always nice to have them. It's like archival.
It's so easy to be super precious about sketchbooks. Like, it's just too much pressure, to be honest.
Now, were you somebody who skipped the first page, or when you opened up a sketchbook, did you hop right in and you were like, all right, it is what it is, we're just gonna...
Yeah, I had some great advice when I was on my MA, that if you get a brand new sketchbook, open it, just rip the first page out, because you're always going to be too intimidated to work on it straight off the bat. So just rip it out, and then you don't have to work on it, you don't have to think about it. So,
and then I like that, because then you have a new first page, but it's not actually the first page anymore.
Yeah, it's a mental barrier broken down, which works well for me. But yeah, it's all digital. All my sketches. Yeah, it's just how I work, really.
And it's really interesting also to see you work with these vectors right now, because you have, what is it, the roughen distort filter on top of all your strokes?
Yeah, it's a plugin that I've got, a little rough pack of strokes. I can't remember.
Oh wow, fantastic!
My head, but there's a whole library. I started using these rough edge strokes back probably in April, May this year, sometime.
So it's relatively new.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I was essentially, my in-house job was completely flat, no line work. So, I mean, similar to this, just with no line work basically, and having that switch up just completely changed my whole approach. I think it was one of the best things I did, aside from going freelance. So, yeah, really, really, really useful. That's maybe, let's try the screen actually.
Now, a question to that point is, when you're working on a piece and you have these different strokes that you can then obviously apply to it, do you stick to the same stroke throughout the whole piece so it feels cohesive, or does it make it feel more natural if you use several different ones?
Yeah, so I try and mix the strokes up. Like, you can see, I don't know how well you can see that, but this stroke here is a super condensed density of the stroke, slightly less, and then it goes out to nothing. But I think having a varied range of it is a bit nicer. There's just more information on the page for you to take in. Just a bit more visually stimulating, I think.
And just a bit more of variety that makes it feel a little bit more authentic to the idea of a hand-drawn feel.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I think it as well translates really nicely from these sketches, for example. So you've got this really nice texture going on here, and combined with the looseness of the sketch, I think it carries over nicely for me personally, and I think clients like it as well. So far, anyway. So gonna keep on doing what I'm doing.
I'm going to go ahead and actually pull up one of your pieces from your portfolio so we can actually take a look at kind of a finished piece that you have. And this is actually a more recent one, I believe. So, which is this it's like a kitchen counter, and it has a bunch of glass. It has some different food that you kind of have stacked on top of each other to organize chaos, like you were saying. Where did this piece come from?
Let me just, sorry, it's just loading on my laptop so I can see it. Where did that piece come from? It came from, what's the question? It all sort of comes from imagination, really, which sounds really stupid.
Not at all. No, that's great.
Yeah, honestly, I just start doodling, and then that whole organized chaos theme sort of plays into it. And then it sort of just, I keep working it, and then take bits out, and see what happens. And it turned out really nicely. I was really happy with that piece, to be honest.
Yeah, no, the colors are great. The how the different shapes are interacting with each other. Like, I love that the wine bottle is represented by its angle of its edge, but it's not perfectly aligned, in the same way that you also have these cool see-through labels also on the wine label. I mean, the wine bottle in general might be my favorite part of the piece.
But I think that's exactly what it was. That was the wine and the glass, the wine bottle and the glass interacting was the thing that I wanted to focus on, the refraction, that element. And then the whole thing kind of expanded from there. So yeah, really fun to work on that one.
And is it a proper representation kind of your own kitchen? Do you feel like you are well stocked with foods and breads and cheeses in your own living situation?
I wish I ate that well.
Right?
That's like a medieval king.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you have a few other ones that you also shared over that I want to kind of share throughout the stream. But I did want to hop back into this since we're continuing to work. I love that you added the green you have over there to the eyeball. Kind of reminds me of Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Alessandra is over in the chat saying she loves the colors on these. Which, I think even from the start, you had a really good color palette to start with. Did you, do you normally kind of just work with a palette in just like one of the programs and kind of do it by eye, or do you have a certain approach you take to color?
So to me, color I find really tricky. Well, to me personally, I do.
I feel like that's common.
Yeah, it's for a lot of people. Coloring in is a fun bit, and it's easy to make it look easy, but a lot of, like umming and ahhing goes into it. You can't, I can't necessarily just sort of pull it out of thin air, so it's nice to know that people appreciate the colours I've picked. My usual process is to work stuff up from this sketch stage. I go into like a grayscale stage, so that I can pick out the contrast and the composition and get shapes nailed just right, if that makes sense. I don't really have time to do that right now, but that's my...
Oh no, you don't have to do it live by any means. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And we're about another 10 minutes in. So, I mean, we're already flying through stuff, but I think it is time to run into another one of our polls. So are you guys ready for another poll? I'm going to go ahead and get it set up real quick. So that you guys will be able to vote over on YouTube, and it'll be trick or treat. And the options for this poll this time are going to be Tim must merge all shapes with the Pathfinder, or Tim is allowed to group layers. So trick or treat over on YouTube. This one, maybe we should have even done this one the very first one, because this is going to be catastrophic if
this is not going to be good.
So I'm kind of also I'm urging people to actually vote treat on this one. So go ahead and vote over on YouTube, and we'll go from there. Oh man. Okay, it's going all over the place. Lauren is in the chat saying watching Tim make all of these shapes is so mesmerizing, which is great. And she also says that Tim deserves a treat, which I would agree with, but we are at 50-50 and it is stressing me out.
I agree with that too. Tim deserves a treat.
Oh man, we're at 11 votes and we're at 55% and 45%, with treat just narrowly winning right now. We'll give it another like 30 seconds or so. Umacorn is over on Behance saying Trick would just be mean. Yes, which I definitely agree. When I was going over some of these with Andrew Hochradel before we went live earlier today, we were flipping through all of them, and he's like, that is the most chaotic one that I would have never thought to bring up. And I was like, yeah, in theory, it was a lot nicer than when I actually went to actually type it up.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not looking forward to that one if that's fair. But we will go with it.
The good news is we are about 13 votes in. It's narrowly winning. Let's give it 30 more seconds, and then we will make the call for it. So make sure you guys go and hop over onto YouTube to make the vote towards Trick or Treat. Now, is trick-or-treating a thing over in Europe? Or is that just an American thing?
I'm not sure about Europe, but I think in the UK it definitely is becoming more and more of a thing.
Okay. But like growing up, was it a thing?
Yeah, it was a tiny bit. I grew up on a tiny island. Anyone knows it? It's called the Isle of Wight. It's on the south coast of the UK. It's not that far away from Brighton, but yeah, Halloween wasn't a massive thing when I was growing up. I think obviously for you guys it's huge. I wish it was bigger here because I love sweets. Got a massive sweet tooth.
Me too.
Probably a good thing it's not that big over here. Otherwise I'd be in trouble.
Oh no, we need one more vote. We're at 50-50, which is tighter than I thought it would be. Although I have not voted, and I think I'm going to vote for Treat. So with that, we will end the poll, and we will give you, thankfully, a treat. All right, so that means that you can now group layers, which is great.
Love it.
Thank you, everyone, for voting. Appreciate you guys. And that adds to our growing list. So now the rules are you have more colors, and you also are able to group, which is good. That said, you said you have a sweet tooth. What is your favorite candy?
Candy. Oh, I forgot. Geez, that's a question. That's the hardest question you've asked. What's my favorite candy? I love M&Ms. They're great.
M&Ms? You're an M&Ms fan? That's a good one. I am a peanut butter chocolate man myself, so anything that has peanut butter chocolate, I'm there for. Which is kind of like the branding of this is almost kind of Reese's, so I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Oliver Andrews over on Behance is saying, I know the Isles of Wight. I grew up on the coast in Hampshire. So
lovely.
You are among friends.
Nice to know nice to know there's someone close to home watching. Whereabouts in Hampshire?
Oliver, that question is for you, dear friend. Also, I like that you're making the flames over here green, which is really cool. Not to be expected, but nice weight and distribution of kind of that color hierarchy.
Yeah, kind of balance things out nicely. I feel like it's going well at the moment so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm trying to get as much done before there's any horrible tricks.
I will honestly, getting through that shape layer one is probably the best one.
I think
that we had to kind of skirt through, which is good. But yeah, I guess we could also go ahead and while you're continuing to work, I'm going to go ahead and I want to make sure that we do proper representation of all your work that you have going on. I'm really excited about some of these stickers that you have, which you have from Get Your Hot Dogs to Face Off to a cool whistle, Ice Ice Baby. Can you talk a little bit, what are these from? What are these about?
100%. So yeah, that was personal work that I made recently. I'm a massive ice hockey fan, have been for a long time. And I just don't think ice hockey gets enough good illustration. Loads of illustrators do sports, but I don't think there's enough people representing ice hockey. So that was my sort of 2 cents, as it were, on ice hockey.
It was your contribution.
That's my piece for that.
Now, where would you necessarily see these living? Do you kind of like these just as an idea of kind of like a composition of them always together, or would you kind of also envision them maybe as like Instagram stickers, or maybe even printing them out and making them real stickers?
Yeah, 100%. I'd love to, if I have a bit more time, get around to animating them.
That'd be cool.
I mean, if someone like Giphy, for example, was commissioning, then I'd love to do a project like that. some sort of like social media assets like that. That'd be very fun. Yeah, I do a lot of personal work at the moment. Client work comes in waves. So when in the sort of a quiet spot, I try and cram as much personal work in as I can. This past week has been focused on food illustrations. So I noticed there was a bit of a gap in my portfolio for that. So it's been really fun sort of getting.
And what kind of illustrations did you do this for?
Which kind? Food illustrations, all sorts. I did a speculative cover illustration for Bon Appetit mag, if you know it. I did a sushi illustration, which I was really happy with, and that kitchen still life one that you shared previously. Those were all from sort of the last week or so. So yeah, really enjoyed working on those. I'd love to do some more food stuff. Really satisfying to work on. The only thing is it makes you hungry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. To that point, when do you get your most of your inspiration? Are you more of a morning person or a night person? Like, do you feel like you kind of get the munchies late at night and that's when your brain starts working, or are you more like get up and start going in the morning?
I would say I'm a morning person.
Okay.
I think that's wake up, have a coffee, start working, and then there's kind of like a sort of 2-hour sweet spot in the morning where I'll cram about 6 hours worth of work into 2-hour slot or so, and then and then the rest of it is sort of downhill from there. I'm sure a lot of people are the same, to be honest.
Everything else is just shot for the rest of the day. You got to get through that.
Yeah, you might as well not do it.
Yeah. No, that's so funny because it's very different for me. I'm very much like I really have to motivate myself in the morning because it's all comes naturally later at night for me. And so kind of getting up and going and working with it at the very beginning is something that I'm constantly battling with.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I hate getting up in the mornings, but for me, that's just the best time to get on with work. So it's got to be done.
Clever is saying this is looking beautiful because she's always hopping in and coming up with great puns for the chat. Also mentioning that they're very fun stickers. Jack has also just joined us. Welcome, Jack. Good to see you here. And in just a few minutes, we'll be doing another poll for Trick or Treat over on YouTube. So if you guys are over on Behance, make sure you hop over to the YouTube page as well, because we will be voting on a Trick or Treat that affects Tim's drawings as we continue on. But I mean, it's already, I mean, the speed at which you work is very admirable. I'm amazed that we're like 30 minutes in and you're already like got everything pretty mapped up for the most part.
Take a drink and check out the stream.
Yeah. I guess what we could also do real quick is we can continue to work down through your portfolio as well. I want to bring up this piece that we have with the cats everywhere. Do you have a cat?
No, I don't have a cat. I'd love to get a cat.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if you're a big cat person or not.
Yeah, I love animals, but it's I live in a one-bed flat, so it's not really viable.
Oh, that makes sense.
But one day we'll get around to it. What about you? Are you a cat person or dog person?
I wasn't always. Now I have one, and he's very clingy, and he is a jerk to everybody else, but he's very nice to me. So you know, there's worse things. There's better things,
classic
you know.
cat.
Right. We also have another one of your pieces, which is the Little White Lies, Truth and Movies, which this one obviously has so many elements to it. About how long do you feel this one took?
That one, so that probably from start to finish was probably a 2-week process.
Okay.
The amount of references I had to get in on that was insane. There was 25 different characters based on different references. I don't know if there's any Little White Lies fans on the live stream, but it was such a bucket list job to get in. Massive shout out to Lauren and Adam from Little White Lies. Such a nice bunch of people there. It was a great job to work on. Probably my favourite one of the year so far. And it's great to see it in the flesh. It even came, might have a copy down there actually. It came in this really nice slipcase that Lauren Bollier designed. And it is with 4 other illustrators as well. This one is by Murugai, who's a lovely guy. There's 4 other artists involved. Myself, Murray Geyer, Carl Platts, and Zara Wilkinson, who's also a Brighton artist. So it was a really, really fun project to work on.
And it's so cool that it was the 100th edition too, which is really cool. It's like such a pivotal and ceremonious publication, which is cool.
Oh yeah, 100%. It was just a crazy project to be involved on. There was an exhibition up in London, actually, maybe a few weeks ago now, at the Oxo Tower with all of the previous 100 issues involved. So it's a really special thing to be involved with. So yeah, shout out to everyone at White Eyes. That was great. Really
it's also just cool to be able to see your stuff kind of physically printed and kind of in something tangible.
Oh yeah.
Michael Driver is over on YouTube saying, "I love the piece." So a big fan. I'm not sure if that was in reference to the cat one or the 100th issue one, but both of them deserve praise. So I think you can't go wrong with either.
Yeah. While I'm here, for anyone listening, check out our studio, Lucky Frog. We've got an exhibition coming up. On Instagram, we're called Lucky Frog. 10 artists or so. Just an amazing bunch of people. I'd say that's where I got a lot of inspiration from. They're such a nice bunch of people. And yeah, Mike is one of them. So yeah, shout out to Mike and everyone else at Lucky Frog. They're all lovely people.
He says Lucky Frog, like a ribbit, yeah. Like a hopping frog.
Yeah, you got it.
Like rivet. Yeah, I mean, it helps. You knew what I was talking about when I asked.
Yeah. Don't ask where the name comes from because it's a long story.
No, I like it though. It's memorable and not necessarily like grabbable by other. Like sometimes you go to try to get a name and it just doesn't work out. But I feel like that you would probably be able to actually get your stuff figured out. We're about another 10 minutes in, so time for another trick or treat. So if you guys are over on Behance, make sure you hop on over. I'm putting up the poll for you guys right now, and the poll that we're going to have for this one is Tim can't use the pen tool for 10 minutes, which will be catastrophic as well, or treat Tim can cancel one rule or trick. So make sure you guys go on and you hop over to YouTube. The poll is live, so that's a trick he can do, and he would not be able to use the pen tool for the next 10 minutes, or he can switch out one of the rules or tricks that we already have up to this point. And you guys were quite nice last time, so it's up to you whether or not you want to keep up your reputation or not. Tim is frantically doing something with his pen tool as quickly as possible, so if it goes away, he doesn't have to deal with those ramifications.
Getting it done as quick as possible.
Now, are you actually kind of have arachnophobia in your real life? Or are you kind of someone who saves the spider and lets him outside?
Oh, I'm definitely someone that saves the spider.
That's my fiance.
Spider season in the UK right now. Got a massive one the other day.
Wait, gross! That's a thing? It's spider season?
Yeah, they kind of all come out the cobwebs.
Maybe I made that up, but
that sounds terrifying. I'm never visiting. Oh man, it's looking like it's gonna be a trick. We're gonna get a few more minutes, but make sure you get any last minute pen tool just in the event that we actually have to cut it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I used to be very much of a smash the spider guy. And my fiance got very mad at me when he saw me smash the spider, and so now I am in the save the spider and put them back outside phase until further notice, I guess. Andrew Hawkrattle is in the YouTube chat saying brush tool is about to make an appearance, which is very true.
Interesting.
And we're gonna
I've never used the brush tool.
Have you not? Oh wow! Well, what a time ever! Once you're gonna get cut off from that pen tool. Maybe it's actually looking like the trick is going to be the clear winner. So, unfortunately, with that, no more pen tool for the next 10 minutes. Thank you guys for voting. Appreciate it. Now, moving on. You got to get out of that pen tool. Got to get out. Oh, I guess you're using the arrow tool now, which is kind of
switching between. Good.
Yeah. You can do arrow tool. You can do some brushing tool or whatever.
I'm gonna cheat and do brush tool and that little selection tool.
Over in Behance, Kendall is saying all the tarantulas come out looking for a mate and migrate out in Colorado because there's spider season on the other side of Colorado these days.
Spider season is a thing.
Yeah, maybe you manifested it, which I wish you would have manifested other things, but you know, it is what it is. Oh, this is fun though. So you're adding a little like cobweb kind of to the idea of how it's attached to the knife. Which is nice.
just playing with the balance in the composition. Something nice going on there. So yeah, I wanted to play around with that bit.
Now, that's making me think of slasher films. Do you have a favorite Halloween movie or slasher horror movie that you like to watch?
The Shining is a classic.
The Shining?
Yeah, that's such a good film. But I haven't seen it in a long time. We watched, me and my partner watched A Quiet Place 2 the other night, which was...
Oh, I still haven't seen the second one. I saw the first one in theaters, but I have not seen the second one.
Yeah, the audio in it is just so good.
I mean, it has to be, right?
Yeah. Jim from The Office. Oh, no pencil. Oops.
Yeah, it's just strange. He definitely rebranded himself.
Yeah, he's gone off piece a bit there. Let's do this phone.
I recently just watched Hocus Pocus last night. We also watched Poltergeist earlier this week. So we're trying to do the whole shebang, which is you know, got a few days left, and we got Halloween weekend this weekend, which is fun.
Nice.
Looks like you're going and you're applying some bone with some shape tools, which is nice.
Yeah, I'm avoiding using the pencil. The pencil is my best friend, so it's a tough trick, that one.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that like I definitely had to learn at the very beginning when I was getting into Illustrator, and I was like, why would this ever be useful? And then, you know, it quickly becomes something that is irreplaceable. That said, you should try out the brush or the blob tool. I mean, you don't have to also try something new on stream. I respect that.
Let's have a go.
But the brush and the blob tool are really great, especially if you have a stylus. Do you mostly work with a mouse, or do you work with a stylus?
I do all with a trackpad.
Oh, you do a trackpad?
So.
Oh, cool.
The whole thing, yeah. Some people think that's crazy, but for me, that's just how I work.
No, it's remarkable.
So what you can't see is my fingers going like this.
Yeah.
Off screen.
But it is nice because then you can kind of navigate around the screen with like two fingers and what have you. I have a ergonomic mouse because I, for a while, was getting like carpal tunnel vibes. But I definitely miss the trackpad of a laptop.
Yeah, the RSI is real.
Over in Behance, CJ is saying, I have a family of orb weavers that set up shop in my bedroom window every night. I keep destroying the webs during the day to try to get them to move out, but they keep coming back. Ugh. Ugh.
Lovely.
Also,
spiders are really doing it.
You also have your spider over here that is kind of hanging down, and I was like, oh, it's kind of like a, you know, like upside down cross. And I was like, wait, but his head is upside down. So maybe it's actually just a priest spider because it's right upside up.
Yeah, I better change that then.
I don't know, because then it looks like it's regular, like, you know, priest spider on this way up. So I'm not sure which one it is, honestly.
Now it's either way. It's a non-religious spider.
I want to talk about this Michael statue that you have in your portfolio as well, with the funny telescope and the question mark. Can you talk a little bit about where this came from?
Yeah, of course. That was a client job for the New Scientist. That was one of the first jobs of the year, I'd say, since going freelance. And that was for New Scientist. Shout out to Ryan Wills, the art director. He's a really nice guy, great art director to work with. It was about what was it about? It was about research on scrotum, and it was how to approach illustrating that without being too tongue-in-cheek. So this little step.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would say that's well. You know, I mean, you have the scientists, you have obviously the focus, but without obviously putting anything that can be blocked by filters or sensors. So it's interesting when you kind of have a job as an illustrator to approach something that you can't explicitly show. but you still want to make sure that the
exactly.
audience and the viewer understands what it's about.
100%. Yeah, it was. It's super fun to like make work in that style. The art director had like a really clear vision as well, which made it a lot, simpler to get straight to the point in terms of what you're communicating. So yeah, really fun job, and a nice bunch of people again, just like Little White Lies. Nice people.
Yeah. And then just one more that we have here too is the little Vespa. And I love what you did with the wheels, just because it's something that can obviously be very overlooked with the kind of a circle, but you have the rough edges of the tires, you have the cool yellow highlights of it. What's this guy about?
That was, so I've got a studio in Brighton, like I said, Lucky Frog. And then on my lunch break one day, it was Brighton's a city, if you don't know it. There was gridlock in the city, and there was this guy dressed out, head to toe in sort of classic mod gear, just whizzing through the streets on his little Vespa. And it just looked great. And I thought, I need
Was
to
it you?
illustrate that.
Are you saying it was someone else, but it was actually just you?
I wish, yeah.
Those are my goals.
I even animated that one as well. So,
oh, did you really?
Have a look at my Instagram. Yeah, it's quite a fun one to animate.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so he sort of whizzes back and forth and his baguettes jump out of his basket. Quite fun.
Let me see actually if I can pull that up while I put your screen back on the screen, so while you're working on stuff. But I'm going to see if I can actually find the animation of that guy. Which, as a point, guys, Tim is available on Instagram. You are also active on LinkedIn. I saw you a lot on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Is that where you mostly post most of your work, you feel like?
Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, a bit of what's the new one? Threads. I feel like no one's really sort of stuck.
Yeah, it's like up and down. It like is really active sometimes, and other times it's not.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's a shame because I feel like Twitter is not quite what it used to be, and then sometimes stuff lands and it goes good again. So it comes in waves, I think, of what's good, but mostly Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. LinkedIn is just so good for actually connecting with who you want to, actual industry professionals. I go on LinkedIn all the time, and I go on about it to my girlfriend way too much, and she says I'm a bit of a LinkedIn nerd. So that is me.
And also, hello, Tim Alexander on Behance as well, for everybody over on Behance.
Yes.
And you have a great collection of works there as well.
Just 10 minutes up, by the way. Can I use the pen tool again?
Oh, yes, it has been 10 minutes, so you've been back. But that also means that we get to enter our very last poll, which this time is going to be... You can either only use shape layers for the last 10 minutes, or you can add one more color to the palette. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to launch that poll over onto YouTube. So this is the last one of the episode, you guys. And thank you guys so much for hopping in and voting so much and being active in chat. I appreciate you guys. But hop on over to YouTube for one last vote of Trick or Treat. The trick is that he can only use shape layers. Or the treat is that he can add one more color in a frantic end, which I don't even know if that's much of a treat as much as it is like towards the very end, you would have to find a way to add color.
Color's a hard one for me. It's always it's the last step in my process, like it is for everyone, but it takes a while to figure out. So many people
that's all. You work with values in grayscale, right? And then at the end you kind of do a recolor.
Yeah, so let me bring up another piece quick so I can give you an example.
Wade wants to know if it's been all tricks so far, and CJ is letting everyone know it's actually only been one trick so far. And this is looking positive in your favor right now already for Treat, which is not the final one. We're going to get a few more seconds.
Cool.
But nonetheless, continuing to work. CJ is also saying, no, it was only one trick, but it was a very big trick considering it was no pen tool. So,
yeah. now I can go back to my safe zone of using the pencil.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is about 2 minutes in for that. So I'm going to go ahead and end the poll, and happy to announce that it was tree. So that means that you can add one more color in there if you'd like, maybe a hot pink or something, maybe a another shade of orange or a yellow. I don't know. Up to you. It's already coming together very well.
Orange.
And then where would you normally kind of feel like this would live? Do you think this would be like an iPhone wallpaper, or would this be more of a sticker?
Yeah, I think for this one, funnily enough, I was thinking about making it into a sort of free downloadable wallpaper, that kind of thing. Or maybe a screen print or GK print, that kind of thing. I'm really happy with it, to be honest. I really enjoy making these kind of images, organised chaos, like I said earlier.
Right.
It's really, it's like the way I describe it is like a sort of crossword or a Sudoku for your brain, but for like an artist. It's just really satisfying to work on and make. And once it comes together, you can really, really see it working. Does that make sense? That's kind of a rambly answer, but that's how I see it.
Yeah, for up to you. Are you more of a like editorial illustration guy, or more of like a art for art illustration guy? What do you find do you find the most inspiration with?
So mostly, like, my bread and butter in terms of client work is editorial. I've recently signed to Making Pictures agency, in case anyone knows them or anyone viewing. Lovely bunch of people. So yeah, most of it is editorial, but then for like personal work, I use personal work for like portfolio filling, and that then in turn sort of leads on to client work. So it's like a cycle of making work, if that makes sense. That was probably a bit of a rambly answer, but I'm getting to the end. I'm concentrating, so I've only got about 10 minutes left.
No, you're doing great though. At the same time, I mean, even as it stands now, I mean, the amount that you've accomplished in just 1 hour has been very admirable, and very exciting to see.
Thank you.
But do you feel like you normally kind of go through a sprint of getting something done nice and quick, or do you feel like you tend to sit on pieces for a little bit longer and like nibble on them as you kind of get inspiration for work?
So I think in terms of the speed that I create work, when I worked in-house, it was a lot of very quick turnarounds, short deadlines, that kind of thing, which really sort of was great because it set me up freelancing for, editorial briefs are like, you get a few days to do it.
Yeah.
And then it's out in the wild. So it was really a blessing in disguise, although I didn't see it at the time. But, that's really made me a lot quicker as an illustrator. But yeah, I'm really happy with this is turning out, actually.
Yeah, Clever is saying it's spooktacular work, which very, very fitting. No, I find it interesting as like having someone who also worked at an agency for a period of time. Like it was something where it was like rush, get it fast. But then now that doing freelance, I'm able to kind of take that and adapt it to my own clients and being able to navigate kind of that structure. That said, I'm sure when you're working on something like the magazine cover or the publication cover, that you probably have a little bit more time for that because you had to use so many resources and so many references to create such an extensive piece. Which still, doing that in 2 weeks is still very fast, but still.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a really, really fun job to work on.
That always helps. Sometimes with agency jobs, it's not anything fun and it's still fast, and you're like, I am not happy.
No, honestly, that Little White Lies one was great. Lovely people.
Let's see. I'm getting, for whatever reason, Instagram is giving me an error code for you. Is it hello.timalexander?
Let me have a look. Hello_Tim Alexander.
Underscore. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's like, I know I'm like not crazy. I'm gonna see if I can still
Oh.
find that Vespa guy real quick. Oh, here he is. Oh, look at him. Oh, he's so fun. He's a little wheelie and everything, and all of his little. I like how his bread also kind of pops up and down in response to his wheelie, and the head and all. That's great. It's also like I am my pride and joy is my motion. So I always really like to see when someone that I really admire illustration for also has understanding and messed around with motion. So big fan.
So you motion designer sort of by trade?
Yes, that's my bread and butter per se.
Okay.
Oh, also interesting. I'm sorry. I'm going to share one more thing off of your Instagram. It's for your Friday night takeaway. It's your most reason that you only posted 9 hours ago. And it's really cool to see your process here of kind of like beginning to end. And just as you said, kind of having that grayscale that then is colored at the end, which is very cool to see.
Yeah, really satisfying, like I said, to show the process. I feel like Instagram is such a throwaway culture. You just scroll, you look at something for 2 seconds, maybe like it, and move on with your life. So it's nice to share a bit of, the hard work that goes into making art. And I think people do appreciate it. Whether they do or they don't, I still share it.
Right.
Whether they like it. But it's just nice to step back and see sort of the journey that your creativity's taken. Always good to see.
And we are getting towards the end here. We got about 4 minutes left, 3 or 4 minutes left. And I mean, wow, yeah, you absolutely filled it up. You have the whole situation going on. Have you carved a jack-o'-lantern this year?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't been very Halloweeny this year. It's ironic because I'm doing a Halloween live stream.
Hey, I mean, maybe this scratches your itch, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let me just figure out the shapes I need to make this nose.
Oh, I also like the crack in the skull. Creepy, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, nice little detail.
So,
there we go.
Yeah, he still has no nose. I just realized that. I didn't even see that.
The last bit. My brain couldn't compute it in time. I just want to apologise to all the viewers that have just seen me staring at my screen for an hour and rambling. I hope it was useful and interesting to watch. Despite the manic look on my face, I've really enjoyed doing this.
Oh no, you've been doing great. I mean, it's fantastic. Don't be hard on yourself. It's one, super inspiring to see how fast you've worked and everything. And also, Lauren says that she loves all the bold colors and all of your art, which I definitely agree. That's something that definitely was one of the first things that caught my eye when I saw your work. Because obviously color is difficult, but you find a way to take the vibrant colors and still make them not feel overbearing, which is very cool.
Yeah, thank you. I spent a lot of years making art in-house art that wasn't necessarily, bright and fun. It was you just get a center brief, you make it, you do it, and you move on to the next. So I feel like since I've been freelance, I've just been having a lot more fun with the work that I make. I think it's starting to show, and B, starting to sort of notice and take interest and actually commission it, which is great.
It's a little like reactionary.
Yeah. I think.
Well, I'm grateful for it at least.
That's great. Thank you.
Great. All right. Well, that puts us just about time, which, I mean, wow, nailed it. Awesome. And thank you, everyone, for hopping into YouTube and voting on polls. I know we pulled up some of your Instagram, and we were looking at that. Once again, that's hello_Tim Alexander. And then also on Behance, you are hello Tim Alexander, no underscores or anything. LinkedIn, hello Tim Alexander. Make sure that you guys go and check those things out. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show, and thank you for putting yourself at the will and mercy of the chat. That's very admirable to do. Even when you had to get kind of taken away from the pen tool, you still managed to make a very fantastic piece.
Thank you. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone that's hopped onto the live stream. I really appreciate it, all the support. It's nice that there's people watching and complimenting as well. That is very nice. yeah, I'm really happy with what I made. And thank you, Ryan, for having me. It's been great.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a pleasure. And I'm really looking forward to seeing this once it's done. Do you think it's done, or do you think you'll continue to work on it once we're offline?
I would say, let's have a look. Near enough done, you know. Let's just tweak those.
I'm here for it. It's awesome. It's great.
Yeah.
I can't believe you pull it off in an hour. That's fantastic. So,
Yeah,
well, thank you so much.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
Have a very happy Halloween, and we will talk to you real soon. All right, guys, stay tuned. We have Way to Cuff coming up, and you guys are going to be able to dictate what he is drawing. So stay tuned. We'll be right back in just a minute.